All right, everybody. Welcome to Station 42. I'm your infamous host, Vadran Malik, and I have with me here today Godric, the technical lead. Today's show is brought to you in part by Magellanic Spirits. Whether you're relaxing with a crew after a day of pillaging or entertaining a Xeon diplomat who's been insulted by the way you pronounced his wife's name, Magellanic will bring the tranquility of the stars that you need to make it a night to remember or forget. Magellanic Spirits, inspired by the stars and made among them. Please don't drink and fly. And it's also brought to you by the Ready Player One group community. Just click on the Facebook and search for Star Citizen. Join on up. Writing by Irv Nation and graphics by Playa Cause. And special guest tonight is Ion Traz. Ion, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. How about yourself, man?
Man, I am doing pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. I like that intro music. It blows me away every time I hear it. And I've only heard it twice.
Hey, it sounds good to me, man. All right, so we got a pretty good show for you tonight. We're going to go ahead and throw out some of the current events. I understand that the concierge card is underway. I was able to find an old post where Alexis had said that she was going to use the card for pop-up parties, for basically semi-random things, and just basically free entry to some of the Star Citizen events. Ion, Are you eligible to get a concierge card?
Yes, I am. Um, I definitely missed out on the opportunity to get the original cards back in the day, just barely. Like I don't even know how I was able to get my name filled in, but I never actually got one of the early backer cards. However, I did get a really beautiful Gamescom card while we were visiting in CIG Santa Monica, and but that still doesn't entitle me to anything.
Hey, it still entitles you to bragging rights. I've never been to CIG, so congratulations, man.
It was quite a trip. They were a lot nicer than I think anyone would really expect or realize.
I really honestly feel like the community, both internal to CIG and external, is actually a really, really good group. I'm looking forward to having my own concierge card, and I understand there's a lot of people that have been looking forward to those as well. So I'm probably going to put mine in a plaque and hang it up and say, yes, yeah, I spent $1,000 on a game, but man, I couldn't be more proud of it, to be honestly. All right, so the current events right now, looking at the stats page, and we've raised $93,774,251 with 1,032,854 people.
Absolutely mind blowing.
It gets bigger every day, and it's not slowing down, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep on adding the people. Keep on, getting the funding going. I honestly, in reality, I can't think of a better way to celebrate. I would celebrate this every week if I could. So I just wanted to go ahead and give the raw stats out there. 93 million and almost up to 94. So that's getting there.
It
Um,
really is. I remember when I first joined, it was like 14 million, and we were struggling to hit. And I remember hit 15, we hit 16, and I remember pushing friends to, hey, join us if we can just make 18 million. And then there was the big push to 22, 23 to get past the PayPal expenses, and every single time it was just mind blowing.
yeah, the I've been looking forward to getting to this point for a while. 93 million. I joined actually when it was 64 million, so I've got the special Xeon houseplant that sits there and never blooms until 100 years later.
I was really hoping the houseplant would turn into like a room-sized wall crawling little shop of horrors kind of deal, but
Well, I live in Tennessee, man. If you wanted that, all you got to do is just let me know. I can get you some kudzu.
excellent. I've got lots of blood.
All right, let's see here. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move right along. There's a lot of ships that have been revamped in the 1.3 patch. There's still ships that are continuing to be revamped, remodeled, remade. One of the biggest complaints that I understand is that the poor Cutlass community was just having a hard time of it, and their prayers were answered with the previous patch. I'd also like to make mention of the fact that the cargo space in the 300i is still not looking very good because you gotta go behind the cargo to get to the toilet, and that just probably isn't going to fly.
Now
Um,
you say that like they've actually done a change to the geometry. I don't think they've
they're
actually done the revamp to the 300i series yet, right?
they're about to though, and that's what I wanted to highlight on. There's a lot of ships. The ship that you're flying with now, probably if you're on the list of, I want to say the list is Avenger, 300i, Connie, Cutlass. There's a lot more of them, but I didn't have the time to actually get these fleshed out. Um, the idea is that they're going to go and restructure them and make them and tweak them into what they need to be. So the ship that you're probably flying now isn't going to be completely the ship that you're going to be flying when the actual game goes live.
Right,
Do
of
you
course.
do you have any ships in mind that actually deserve the revamp in the immediate future?
Well, I mean, even though the 300 series isn't generally like my favorite go-to for a long time, I take that back. The caveat to that was the 350 was a favorite, um, and it's just recently got an overhaul in 1.3 that makes it kind of borderline combat viable again. But other than that, like the 300 series has never been my go-to, but nonetheless, there are a lot of fans of that ship that have been waiting a very long time. So even though I'm in love with the Cutlass, and I'd like to see some revamps to the Freelancer come live, and the same thing with the Constellations. All of those ships, I think, have seen a lot more time on the table. I mean, less people grumble about the 300 series because it's got a solid flight model, but that doesn't change the fact that it needs some geometry work and some to give it the cargo capacity that makes it a viable single seater, advanced starter ship.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I've just been looking forward to that 300i because I've got a 315p and I've been looking forward to the change. So
Right.
I have a personal investment in that little piece. All
Oh
right,
yeah.
so I'm going to go ahead and move on a little bit. The lore highlight tonight is going to be the Terravan War 1 and 2. If you guys want to feel free to read up on this, this is actually a really interesting piece of literature. I believe it was after they had found the Banu that they had met the Terravan as well, and the Terravan were on a similar technological field as the human races, and the humans were able to subdue them. So that's the reason why there's two wars. Is the second war they came back and they came back strong and with vengeance. And well, that's something that you really want to take a look at on your own. I'm really excited to see the Terravan whenever they bring them out. They haven't released that information yet, so go and take a look. And there's a little Easter egg, a little kind of a little scavenger hunter, if you will. The person that can actually give me the name of the Terravan leader that resides in the Bengal carrier that's crashed on a planet. Special kudos to them. Let's see if they can find it. Go out there and look for it, guys. Would you like
Nice.
to? Would you like?
Nothing beats a little bit of a little community challenge. For a
Oh,
second there, I was getting a little hot in my seat. I thought you were calling me out.
no, 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 no. I wasn't going to do that to you. In all honesty, I really just like to let people go and look for that lore, see if they can find the information, and so I
That's
leave
a good
little Easter
topic.
eggs.
The
Yeah.
Tavaran are just a very interesting piece of the whole Star Citizen, lore. I don't even know what you'd call it now. It's a galaxy of lore, really. But they're a fantastic little bit that barely gets any real focus.
From what I understand from a lore standpoint, if there's an alien race that we will get to play as, it'll probably be them. I do understand that there are. Would you like to play as a Terravan?
Ooh, yeah, I could say so. Like, there's only a few instances where they get brought to the forefront in the lore that I've read, but all of that has kind of, I guess, posted them up as the perfect anti-hero. They've got a reason to be angry with the state. They have a reason to want to see the UE fall, but at the same time need their survival is going to be dependent on their symbiotic relationship with their human counterparts. And the war's kind of gone on and moved on, and we all know how humans are. Like the sins of the past, usually get brushed under the rug, and I don't know. It could definitely it can definitely reflect a lot of the tensions that we've seen in the real world, So playing that kind of underdog race and trying to bring that character into the forefront as a hero or an anti-hero, however you choose to do it, is going to be really interesting if you're into the role play or just advancing in character lore.
I honestly like every single thing. I might be a pirate, but I like every single thing Star Citizen. I honestly
Arr.
can just eat it up. Yeah, yar matey. Moving right along, we're going to the Theory Crafter section of tonight's show, and here is the question. Will we be able to play as aliens, and will CIG augment the aliens in any way? The reason why I ask about the augmentation is because they're not human, so maybe they would have a different kind of skill set. Dare I say that dirty word, skill set? Nobody likes skill trees, right? I know that I don't, but I'm thinking that maybe there would be like a soft skill that you would not be aware of and that they wouldn't announce. That maybe if the Terravan are very if they're very short in stature, maybe they're stealthy, or maybe the Vandal, if you get to ever play as them, maybe they are faster because they can run on all fours. Maybe the Banu have better skill. They would have better prices, for example. Do you honestly think that soft skills would be something that CIG would consider? Do you feel that that would be something that would help make the alien races feel different?
Well, I think the initial questions, I think the first answer about whether or not we will ever get to play them is possibly and eventually, just because CIG has said that they would love to, the player base would love to, but there's technical challenges to allowing other races that have different sizes fly ships, and that will definitely be a much farther down the road post-launch kind of release. But be that as it said, that doesn't mean we can't theory craft about something we all very dearly want.
Hence the
As
show.
far as yeah, as far as soft skills, I think that if you're giving a race an ability that's like a one-click ability that lets them stealth,
No,
probably
no.
that's probably a no-go. That goes outside the lines of Star Citizen stuff. However, if you have a smaller race, they are naturally going to be able to hide more. Perhaps they'll have an ability to chameleon, so when they're near an environment that's dark, their skin literally changes shades to a darker shade. Now, something like that where it actually happened in it's the difference between invisibility and a low signature. So
Right.
if they treat characters and aliens and any sentient being the same way they treat the starships and execute the way the game mechanics work, where like a smaller hitbox makes or a faster locomotion, I mean, I think all of those are very valid potentials for I guess a soft skill.
I was thinking that maybe if you're playing as a Terravan and you actually reached a certain level of damage state, that a chameleon effect would kick in to try and make you hide. Like it would be a
Ooh,
panic. And it wouldn't be something that you could control. It would just make you
ink
harder to see
blast.
instantly. But well, yeah, essentially like that. Yeah, it's one shot,
The,
and you can't do it again.
just to break in there, I mean we're all pro VR, but we are not pro virtual smell. So that could go the wrong way.
That would be really funny. It'd make your player nauseated, and all of a sudden he goes and saps you. That'd be
Be terrible. I think they actually did something like that in the Ready Player One book. He talked about how the virtual reality rigs had a smell-o-vision,
oh man, that's
and he kept it turned off because of all the trolls.
the well, I understand that also the Vandal can run on all fours. So would you? That would be one of the few examples of a one-click ability. It's basically you would shift and run, and then eventually, after holding shift and running past a point, you would run into a second gear, if you will, and then he'd drop on
Right.
all fours and go forward. But it would be a cooldown on it, so it'd be like maybe a 2-second gap of running normal before he could actually enter that state.
Right, right. Now, those kinds of mechanics, I feel like are valid introductions to the universe, especially when you're dealing with alien races with different physiology. It's just, but of course, when people talk about skills, everybody's in mind immediately goes to the classic, World of Warcraft. I click, I vanish. I click, I invis. I click, I do whatever. And we're trying to avoid that. So
All right, we're going to shift some gears a little bit here. Ion, there's probably a lot of people out there that actually want to know about you, the person. So let's go ahead
Sure.
and get started on some of the basic questions. What does your family think about Star Citizen, and does anybody close to you play it?
Well, my immediate family would be my best friend and his godsons and his wife and whatnot, and they're very supportive. They're a gaming household, so we've been playing D&D together for like 1,000 years, and we've LARPed, we've done video games. The boys all play everything from Minecraft to Fallout New Vegas to whatever is age appropriate to them. To include having sat down and played Star Citizen at the computer with me and on their own as well. So got to train those pilots young. Now, as far as close to me, well, my sweetheart, she's a gamer girl, and and actually, I should retract that. I should just say that she is an amazing woman that just also happens to be a gamer, because you know the term gamer girl kind of goes with its own issues sometimes.
Its own connotation. I got you.
Right.
Well, okay, so I understand you worked with the government at some point.
I did. I recently separated from the military honorably, and I spent about 5 years. Army. I did the whole, jump out of planes thing. Went overseas. I was stationed in Japan for a few years, and that was absolutely fantastic. The culture there, the food there, and the fact that I met, the love of my life. Oh my God, she's coming home to me so soon.
Sounds good to me, man. Um, just so that the crowd out there actually has an idea, there is some Twitch chat. Just people, we can't read some of the things that are being said. Kanan, are you there right now, man?
Yes,
All
yes,
right,
I'm here. Sorry, I'm here.
all
Sorry.
right. Do we have any questions from the guest right there?
No, no, not that I can tell. No.
All right, just checking in on you guys. I drive blind, so please forgive me. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to you, Ion. What
Uh huh.
actually led you to start the community?
Well, the Facebook community, it's kind of a long story. Originally, I started a random group just to support a few friends back home since I was overseas, and I wanted to include them in this new passion. Over time, it grew though, and I found that as the RSI community got a little more toxic with the more general crowd coming in and everything else, that having a venue that was not moderated by the ideals of here's the difference. The Facebook community is exactly that. It's a community, and I don't mean just in title. What is a community? A community is when a group of people come together for a purpose, and that
Common
purpose
goal.
is a positive common goal where you move forward and you support a future. Now, when you talk about the RSI general forums, it's exactly that. It's an open forum. Anyone who puts down their $2 can come in, and they can say what they want to say. They can do what they want to do, and that's fine. I'm not against that. I'm very much pro being able to bring any conflict or any discussion to the table. And that's another good reason to have an unofficial forum, because that means that we can post things that aren't really appropriate on in the official forums.
Things that CIG might not necessarily approve of.
Right, because there's community content that comes out and so on and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong, we're very proactive to be supportive of CIG's like legal stances and things like that. Like in right, it's like
Okay.
in the case of the when the leak happened, the issue with the leak, I had no problem with people going out on their own to see spoilers or to see the leaked materials. The reason that we actually made a choice to delete those posts had to do with the fact that it was the method of how it was, like, just because a house is left open doesn't mean it's okay to walk in and take all the stuff.
Certainly,
It's still
certainly.
hence. So it was a moral choice at that point.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go and shift gears to the next section. This is the rapid fire section. You ready, Ion?
Oh, dirty dog down. Let's do it.
All right, we got a series of questions that we're gonna ask every single guest, and the first nasty question is keyboard and mouse or HOTAS, and why?
Oh boy. Okay, so I fly a hybrid. I fly mouse for my aiming device. I fly a CH Pro throttle on the left hand with
HOMAS,
the
right?
the most important part of that would be the analog thumbstick for controlling strafe, and the fact that you have an axis to control my reverse forward whatnot. Now on the feet, I fly with Cytec Pro pedals, and I tend to use them like gas and brake, and then roll. So that's my preferred competitive mode. But I really prefer my Warthog for flying, and I really wish I could use it for aiming. But we all know that debate is a dead horse that's been beat to death. So
All right,
twice,
you
and
ready
then
for the next one?
zombified, and then had its head shot off with a shotgun.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yep, fire.
Favorite brand of ships? One brand must be
Oh,
human.
you got that's just cheap. Human only. I see how it is. Okay. Well,
You can't say
everybody
Vandal.
knows the answer is Aegis, so of course I have to be a bastard, and I'm gonna go with Kruger because have you seen that Merlin?
I
Oh
loved it.
man, can you wait for the next ship that they design? It's gonna be amazing.
If they make a full-fledged ship, I will be the first one beating down the door to get to
Right.
it. That will be
Well,
a wonderful thing.
they are making the Archimedes, so if the Archimedes is made by Kruger and it's gonna be like a hot rod little racing variant, it's gonna be nice.
All right, next question. You ready?
Go go go.
Ballistics, energy, or other?
Ooh, other. Yes, no. Ballistics. Energy's a lot of fun, and even though I have a love affair with the Omni Sky sixes, I think my propensity to want to be always PvP viable means that I'm gonna go for ballistics, just because. Well, F your shields.
I could definitely get that. Ammo conservation's always a thing with me.
Right, precision. Precision is a more skilled way to play, so I always aim to get to that point.
All right, and now here's a heavy hitter question. What would you want to see for the community, the entire community, in the future?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think, okay, love it or hate it, CIG always tries to do the right thing, but that doesn't mean that they always do, or that they always do right by every one of their backers. How can you with over 1 million backers? It's just not possible. What I would like to see that would at least make my life easier, and I think it would make anyone's life easier, no matter whether you're a one ship backer or you're a completionist and onward. Is I think that we need better. I guess we need a serious sit down about ship sales. In other words, like when they're going to sell a ship, they need to say, "Hey, this ship is going to be." I just are the purchase patterns of your patrons of the backers that's supporting this game. We're getting tossed on rough seas because half the time we think these ships are going to be LTI and these ships aren't, and then does it come with flare, why is the flare not included, and etc etc. We need a little more consistency,
Yes.
or we need discussion about the different ships so that we can make educated and informed decisions.
All right. Okay, so this is last two questions. You ready for them?
Sure.
All right. How have we done so far?
Well, it's in my best interest to say you've done great, but I'm gonna go with terrible, terrible, like a pirate. Arr! Now, I had a really good
There's a
time answering
scientist
the
on here too.
questions, and I'm honored to be here. Um, I think anything that focuses on the community is going to be great. It's what motivated me to take the Facebook group to the level it is. It's what motivates me to spend the amount of time I do trying to, I guess, give people as much rope as I possibly can so that they can be themselves as much as they can without having to be overly policed. And but at the same time, I carry the axe so that no one else has to. And hopefully, I've done a good job. And if helping support this cast or any podcast, really, I support them all. Yeah, no, it's a good thing. I see this as a completely positive experience, both for myself and for everyone else. I hope for everyone else.
All right. Do you have any questions for us? Like, for example, what did the pirate do to the scientist that's supposed to talk? No.
I do have a question for you. What is a pirate's favorite letter?
You know, honestly, I'm gonna have to buck the trend on that and say a dollar
Okay.
sign.
Oh, come on.
Cause I just don't do that R thing, man. That's so
Oh, well,
sad.
that's okay, because if you did R, I would have told you you're wrong, because everyone knows a pirate's first love is the sea.
Yeah, you're funny. You're funny. I'm more like the dollar sign. I'm more about give me the plata pura. Give me that wonderful Ada rails.
Well, rock and roll, man.
Well, is there any questions for us other than got anything
Hey,
else?
I did my duty. I went straight for the the pun.
Oh yeah. This is a Junior League Ben Lesnick here, guys.
Hey, that's right, Junior. He's definitely top dog when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, and it's the funnier thing about it. It's poor Sandy. She's sitting there rolling her eyes at him every single time he says
That just makes it better. That just makes it better. I mean, love her or hate her, I mean, everybody has an opinion, but I definitely enjoy the suffrage that puns generate.
oh yeah, yeah. I've
Classic
been there.
gamer.
Well, I mean, let's say I'm looking at Sandy and I'm thinking like this is a chick that probably has never played an actual hardcore video game much in her life,
Not
and
true.
so
She was supposedly she was a big FPS gamer when she met Chris back in her like that first kind of encounter level. But I mean, you got to consider there's a lot of cultural difference between being an FPS gamer and PC gamers usually.
well, that at the same time though, by looking at her, everybody wants to go and say, yeah, okay, completely classy business chick doesn't have enough time for games,
Right.
high roller. I mean, I just love to meet the individual, the person, but at the same time, she's sitting here looking at all the stuff and it's like, wow, people are really really serious, and
Yeah.
you can sit there and you can go through the what is it the around the verse episodes and you can just kind of see that grow in her because there was a while that she was actually getting flight training. I
Right.
remember a few
Right.
episodes back she was doing that. And
Well,
so,
I think I don't know if that was a shtick that they put her up to, because believe it or not enough people play the game. I mean, they have to incentivize to get us on to do enough testing to get the numbers that they need, and it's a challenge. Too many people, I think, buy into the game, and then they
and
log in, they get
yeah,
crushed one time, and they're like, "I'm done. I'm gonna wait until the game launches." And it's
yeah.
like you gotta stick through it. If you don't take the time to meticulously break down your flight style and kind of work through those rough, first months or weeks or days or whatever, you're missing out.
All right. So if somebody can just take a look at the chat logs, Florman, please. Last 2 minutes. Any questions for Ion? Any of them right now? Better ask them now. You got 2 minutes. Anybody? Remember, I'm driving blind.
Men,
I can't
women,
see it.
children, yes.
Animal, vegetable.
Apparently, they
Ooh.
enjoy Traz's puns.
There you go. Do another one, Trav.
Oh, I don't pun on command.
You don't put on command? I can.
Leon is asking for a hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
There you go, brother. There you go. All right. So the last question for the night. You ready for it?
Yes, apparently it is who is my daddy, and my daddy is.
Dear Lord. All right.
right.
Last question for the night from me, from the group coming is would you like to be co-host of Station 42?
Whew, that's a lot of responsibility, but I
You
think
just
if
got to
I
put
can
up with
contribute,
Godric, that's all.
if I can contribute, and it'll be great. Like I don't mind answering questions. I love the game. I have so much knowledge from having been a ridiculously rabid fan for years now. But the truth of the matter is I want to see the focus on the community. So going forward in the future, if I can play host and see our community members come forward and be in the spotlight, and I can celebrate the people that are really making this game happen, absolutely, I'm 100% on board, and it'd be my pleasure.
Amen. You heard the man. I want to actually have a nice random guest, whoever you want to bring on. We've already got our number 2 spot locked in. We have a veteran pilot who's wanting to come in and talk about the game as well. But anybody else, if you want to become a guest on this show, just let us know. Remember to keep it positive. I believe that's all we've got. If you want to cue that outro music, we'll go ahead and call it a good night.
All right, good night, everyone.
Hey, have a good night, peeps.